Hey everybody, I am Big Will, and this is more bad advice, which no one told me I was misspelling all these months. I finally figured that out and changed all the thumbnails. Advice is C-E, advise is S-E. You people let me down now. You got to correct me on them things. I am smarter than the average bear, but apparently not that great when it comes to human smartness. But anyway, as always, with these shows, we have my cohort and co-host, Who Dat Comics and Movies. What's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody? Yes,
Yeah.
some more bad advice, but we got a little twist to it. So,
yeah, I was going to say, but this time, thanks to your suggestion, not only do we have the bad advice, but we have
good advice.
We're going to give you some good advice as well. But this time, since we're doing that, we thought we'd bring in someone else. And we don't have specific books already picked out that we're going to show you, because we have a guest with another set of opinions that we're going to draw from. And that is Jimmy, the Geek aficionado. What's going on, man?
Howdy.
Hey. So I just wanted to be known we had two people watching when I was on screen. Then when Who Dat came, it went down to one. And when Jimmy popped on, it went to no one. So,
what are you trying to say?
I'm saying nothing. But anyway, so what we normally do is we have 4 or 5 books that we've heard some bad advice on. People telling you to sell when you probably shouldn't. People telling you to buy when you probably shouldn't. And instead of this time going through certain books we've heard bad advice on, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But we're also going to go with a little bit more in general bad advice and also give you some good advice to go along with it. So since you're the newest person here, when I say people have been giving bad advice, what do you think of, Jimmy?
Buying at the height. After the news is broke, after the character has been established, buying at the highest point. That's the worst advice you can possibly give anybody. This book is hot right now, go and buy it. No. If the book is hot right now, you already missed the train, right? Unless you can find that book for 50% of what it's going for right now in the applicable grade, that's when you can buy it. But don't do it at the height.
Oh, I would say that is almost the worst possible advice. I think seller's remorse hurts a little bit more than buyer's remorse. So telling someone to sell when they shouldn't sell, I think sell at the bottom or something like that. That to me is the only thing that might be a little worse.
Yeah. Don't sell after the movie comes out.
Yeah. But
you're on the down train right there.
Yeah, we got Big Compton, we got Jay Hood, what's going on, and the Gray Man is here. Hello, fellas. So, Who Dat, what kind of bad advice have you been hearing lately?
It's basically like recently I've been hearing a lot of people say buy these books now, and you're like out of the group of books I've seen, I agree with one. I'd buy that one, but like the rest is like, why don't buy it at the top? Like that's the worst advice people could tell you to buy. Especially if the show's over, if it's a TV show or a movie and it's over and that character is done, that's when you shouldn't buy. Or if they have no future plans for a character, you can go back to the Scarlet Witch show. And you got Agnes and you got White Vision. They have no plans for those. They said they'll be back, but you don't know when. So that you don't want to buy those at the height because they could come back in 10 years. They could come back in 6 months. We don't know.
Yeah.
I can see Agnes coming back. White Vision, we were talking about this backstage. Yeah, White Vision's going to be white for about a minute and a half, and then he's just going to switch to color again.
And the reason why I say you don't know when he's coming back is Paul Bettany already said that he has no more contracts with Marvel.
Yeah.
He's done until they come back to the table and say, hey, we want some more. But
they said the same thing about Chris Evans, and then, now he signed a new contract.
Yeah. But we have a little bit of good advice today as well as bad advice. I would say to use the White Vision West Coast Avengers as an example, let's put it up against some good advice. How about buying a Wolverine #1 from '88? What do you guys think about that book?
From '88?
Yeah, his first ongoing book.
It still has traction.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd buy a 9.8 at 9.8 pricing right now, but if you could buy it raw pretty good and then get it graded, or if you got a deal on grading, I would be okay with buying that. It's my favorite cover of all time. It's black cover. So, and it's also in the era of where newsstand was becoming rarer.
Mm-hmm.
So
the thing about that book, though, is that, I mean, I'm never going to tell anybody to buy a slab, right? You buy a slab on a Golden Age book that you can't get, like, you've never come across it. But, anything that's in the 80s, 90s, that's plentiful, that the print runs were astronomical, buy raw all day long. Take the shot at it, right? If you know how to grade, you know how to look at a book and see, how it looks, take a shot at it. Maybe you can get that 9.8, right? It's not hard to get, especially in that, because it's got thick paper on the inside and the cover.
Well, plus I would say, and Who Dat jump in here, that Wolverine is an extremely popular character. He is to the point now where he will always be a popular character. We can't wait until he's in a movie. His 180, 181, and now even 182 are getting extremely expensive. So everyone moves to X-Men Giant Size #1. That's expensive. X-Men 94. That's now expensive. Wolverine 1 of the limited series. That's now over $1,000 in the 9.8. So the next best one, Wolverine 1 from the '88
and
series.
even a raw copy in a high grade is over $100. It's well over $100 for a high grade.
It was usually $100. Now it's a couple hundred.
Yeah, it's like a couple $100 for high grade, maybe higher depending on the person. But yeah. So it's like I can see that as good advice, just because he's one of the most popular characters. They're gonna cast him. Once the casting news comes out, that's when the book is good. Those books, like all those books, are kind of like going down a little bit in like a lull stage. But all of those books are gonna explode if they say such and such is cast as Wolverine. Especially if somebody popular. If somebody popular, then oh my god, the sky's the limit. And then if they announce movies with X-Men, it's even gonna go like it's that Wolverine one you were talking about it has more room to grow, because it's like 3 stages. I see growth in it: announcement for character, movie announcement, trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So
with Wolverine, that's even going to be longer, right? Because we know he's a long-term character, right? But yeah, the pinnacle is probably going to be those 3 things there.
So let's take a look at the White Vision versus the Wolverine book. Let's see, White Vision is West Coast 45, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I am on GPA now. I already got it set up for the West Coast Avengers 45. And here is let me go full screen with it so everybody can see watching. Let's take a look-see here. Okay, the 9.8. Look at this. Look at that just extreme shoot up right there. Boom. It just shot up around.
It's like a roller coaster. It went up.
Around December to January, February, right in there during the WandaVision show. And we can see here, just in 2021, we have, during the WandaVision show, the height, $1,950 was the highest.
Yep.
Right here. And just look at all this. It's going from 225, 244, 240, 191 to 660, then 1,500. And then it holds that during the show. And then it's starting to come down now. Now, last sale, $670.
Yeah.
The 90-day GPA is 669, which is
60% decline.
Yeah, which has gone down. But let's look at this though. The 8.5. The 8.5, its best price was right here. which was $360, just about it. But that's a rare buy. Look at these numbers.
Oh my God.
$43 in January.
Which was
One person paid $357 for an 8.5 in March, but most of these are close to $100 or less.
That was a FOMO buy because that was right around the show.
Right here, yeah. But if you look at all these numbers, I don't think you'll be able to get. It's not responding. There we go. I don't think you'll be able. You'll have trouble getting one for under $100 because, I mean, 78 last sale, 90-day at 108.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, an 8.5 in a book that at that age.
It's from 1989.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not old in terms of comics, but it is old in terms of years.
But
right?
in comparison, let's look at Wolverine #1 from a year previous, 88. Very good comparison. Let's see, 1988 right here. His #1 that we were talking about earlier, you go to a 9.8 on this thing, it's pretty much, well, those are 9.9s. Look at it. It's very similar in pricing. Its 90-day is 604. Look at all the sales, though. And its last sale was 529.
And a little spike, that follows suit of everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's on the X-Men craze, right? And going after those smaller Wolverine keys.
But if you look at all these sales, you can see that it's a gradual increase, and then the spike isn't as severe.
Yeah,
we're not going from 200 to a 1,500.
That spike is Wolverine #1 limited series is now out of my price range. What's next?
Yes, but in comparison to the other book, though, let's go to an 8.5 on this thing and just check that out. So the 8.5 right here, we'll check newsstand because that's the more expensive one. The other we couldn't break out newsstand, so the newsstand would have been in with the others. But we have $199 last sale, $271 90-day GPA. And if we break this out here, just 2021 sales, 96, a couple low ones, 100, 127, 99, 344, 199. Now, GPA only does CGC. I can tell you that I recently, in the last month, sold a CBCS 8.5 for $185, and that was plus shipping. So apparently the standard 8.5 price now is between $130 to like $190. Somewhere in there is probably the standard. And mine was also a newsstand. But just look at that difference. You had 78 the last sale for the other one in an 8.5, barely hitting over 100 most of the time. You got a 90-day average of 271. Yeah, it's only 2 sales. But even the non-newsstand, we're over 100 90 days, and at last sale 133. So what that tells me, I don't know about you guys, but is that this book, it's got a lot more staying power than the West Coast book.
Absolutely.
So I thought that'd be a nice, fun, somewhat comparison there of the two. Only a year apart, both of them around the same price.
Yeah, but like you said, a hot character. It's. I think it's gonna stay in that range. Will a 9.8 sale over 1,000? Time will tell, but I think the newsstands will definitely keep their value. High grade newsstands, I should say.
Yeah. So, Who Dat? What's some other advice, bad or good, that you've seen out there that made you say, "Yeah, it's time for another show"?
Well, and the funny thing is, I had one that was like a bad advice, but it's kind of like a good advice.
Well, because this show we got both.
So this book, honestly, I think it's both. I'll show one that's honestly both because he hadn't appeared as this character, but he's been cast as this character, but he appeared as I forgot what he's cast as in the TV show. So Kang the Conqueror.
Well, he was cast as Kang. He was cast as a variant of Kang, and then we see
Well,
We
no,
see
he was
Kang
cast as
statue.
Kang, and he played some sort of variant of Kang.
Yeah.
Although,
Yeah.
we know it's Kang because of the
Yeah.
last look at the statue, but Kang, the name was never mentioned. So this guy's probably
Right.
who we saw was a combination of Immortus and He Who Remains.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that
So
book,
like this would be, like I said, this would be you could buy this book raw, I would say, or if you can get a low grade. It depends. If you really want the book, I wouldn't say it's a bad buy right now, because the actor signed a 5-picture deal.
I
So
don't
I'm not
know.
saying buy it at the peak. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm not saying let me get it right now. It's I can get this one for $1,000. I wouldn't, but I
think-
still say I would get it if you want it.
Yeah, I think we're currently still in the peak for that. But I think once it goes down to a valley, that would be a great book to buy. Because even if you buy it at, say, I don't know how much that book's worth right there. Do you know?
They don't have any 6.5 sales. They've only had like 7.0s and 6.0s.
Well, what's a 7.0?
7.0 last sale is $4,300.
All right, well, let's say you buy that 6.5
$26.
at $4,000.
Yeah.
That's going to be a little high, but because of who that character is, because it's Silver Age, Avengers single digit, and what they're going to be doing with Kang as a big bad, you're still going to be okay so long as you hold that for the long play, even if you pay $4,000 for that 6.5.
But
By all means, though, we're saying get it as cheap as you can, though.
Yeah. And the reason why I say that, because I'm looking at history with the Marvel MCU. And this is, if you look at first Thanos, the Iron Man 55, when he had the little teaser in one of the movies, the book, spiked. Yeah, the book spiked. And then he had another it kept spiking. And then it went up even higher, I think, when he finally was going to be in Infinity War. Like a full on, action scene, see Thanos do his thing. It shot up. And then after that movie, when he didn't die, something,
he won.
It still went up more because they're like, oh, we got another movie.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's like
he won.
yeah. So that book, that's why the reason I say I think it's still a good buy. It's not bad or good. It's like in the middle of bad and good advice. I wouldn't buy it at a record high, but I would try to get a deal on one. And I think you still will make a profit if you try to hold it and sell it, for more than you got invested in it, because there's a track record with these villains that, especially they sign long picture deals, that he's going to be in more things, and they're labeling him as worse than Thanos. So
what do you think about that book, Jimmy? Because I can tell you right now, if I paid $4,300, the 7.0 price for that book, I have all the confidence in the world that in 2025 I can sell it for more than that.
Yes, I would agree. In 2025, it's probably definitely going to still go for more. The only challenge that I see right now is the market in general as it currently sits. It's higher than it's ever been in the last 30 years, right? We've seen the largest swath of price jumps than we have in the last 30 years.
And at the end of this year, I think we'll see a correction in a whole lot of different stuff, especially beginning of next year, because think about it. We've had 2020, 2021 pandemic, things shut down. You're getting stimulus. You're getting forbearance on, you don't have to pay your student loans. People are not having to pay their mortgages or anything. They have extra cash.
True.
All this stuff now, we're infused with cash, and all that stuff's ending this year. Mm-hmm. Well, depending on what the government does.
I think the only thing that's not is the student loans. I think that got extended because I have student loans.
Yeah. Well,
pretty much everything. We're also on the cusp of another shutdown, right? And I say that because significant increases in cases all over the place, right? All over the world. Delta is going out of control. It's like a wildfire again, right? So that we do have the opportunity where there is going to possibly be another shutdown. So I don't see the government funding stuff drying up that much. But DS and I have talked about this at length. We don't believe that the current comic book prices is because of that. We do believe that there's a lot more buying in the market because people have some slush cash where, like you said, student loans, things like that, forbearance on their houses. But that doesn't get you a $4,000 Avengers book, right? You got to be cashed up.
The people who are stopping paying on their student loans and their mortgages, they're the ones buying books and making these dollar books go to $20, $30, $200, $300, $400, but they have no impact on the record sales like GSX1 and a 9.8 selling for I say like 80,000. That they don't impact.
No. So we have to be talking about two different things there when we talk about something. So my opinion on is buying that a good idea right now? I'm going to say that that's a crapshoot, right? Because we are seeing a current market correction, and that's due to a couple of factors. Number one, I would say the most important factor for people who are buying in that bracket is the Promise Collection. There is so much money being diverted to the Promise Collection books by being able to buy marquee Golden Age books in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? In some of the highest grades that have ever been recorded for these books. So there's a lot of cash diversion there. We're looking at all the major keys across the board. We're seeing the curve come down a bit on that spike because those books are going for less because people are transferring their money into some of these other auctions.
Which is why it's bad advice to assume the bull market lasts forever and buy at the peak, which is what we're trying to say. Don't do.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't buy that book at the peak of right when he appeared in the show, but I would definitely buy it a couple months later, a few months later, or even 6 months later, or even a year later, because he might not have appeared again.
I would still say that there's a lot of room in that book, no doubt about it. But right now, what we're seeing that first spike, right? We're seeing, yes, the guy's been announced that he's going to do it, right? That's a little spike. Now we see.
The funny thing is, when he was announced to do it, I don't know if you followed that book. When he announced him, he finally got cast. He went on TV show, blah blah blah. That book didn't move.
I know, yeah, because nobody
didn't spike at all.
What's Kang?
Yeah, they didn't spike at all, and I was like, huh? And that's when I bought like 3 of them or 4 of them. I was like, well, I guess I'll buy them. Nobody's they're still pricing them low. I was like, all right, I'll still buy them.
It's the same thing with Thanos. Thanos was a very slow go, but Thanos always had staying power because that book was always expensive in general because people in the comic industry who enjoy comics, who were not part of the movie aspect of it, they know that book and they know that book is pricey. That was the highest valued book of my entire Iron Man.
Thanos, Didn't they have like 3 first appearances in the 3 first appearances?
I was going to say,
he's got 3 key books.
Take Thanos out of the picture. Iron Man 55 is still a book I would recommend buying so long as you're not buying at the top of the market because it's the first appearance of Eros, his brother. It's the first appearance of Thanos' dad. Eros, by the way, becomes an Avenger, and he is an Eternal. It's the first appearance of the Blood Brothers. It's the first appearance of Drax, the Destroyer, and I believe it's also the first appearance of their home on Titan.
Yeah. So I mean, ideally, it is a double first appearance, right? 2 big characters that we know, right? Especially since the movies have come out with Drax and Thanos. And if you look at the entire Iron Man run across the same grade, it's the second highest valued book of the entire run. Behind Iron Man #1. So. It's always been a big key, and yes, it shot up significantly, and it came down after he died. After the second snap in the second Avengers movie, everybody looked at it and goes, "He's not coming back," right? Which I think is, I think thinking that he's not coming back, might be,
especially right now and how they're doing things. He's back. He's back. I'll say it right now. He's back. Of what I was doing things. Now, is he back to doing anything? he might be just like he was in the comics or thing. He might be just playing in the background, do whatever he wants, and knowing that, hey, I better not mess with this Infinity Gauntlet because I know what happened last time.
Yeah.
Right? And if you know anything about the Thanos character, he's died I don't know how many times.
Oh yeah,
right? And he comes back. He's the guy that keeps coming back.
Yeah, so I wouldn't count it. I'd count it down for the count, but I wouldn't count it out of the game.
No.
Yeah, he's not
it's a long-term value.
Yeah, well, let's move on to a different book. Now, I heard bad advice on this one. I heard that now was the perfect time to buy New Mutants 98 in a 9A. And I would say, oh, no. Because I believe it's at some of the highest prices it's ever been. It is. If it hasn't already, it's close to, I believe, cracking $3,000 in the 9.8, which blows my mind. But I still want one. But I'm not going to be buying one anytime soon, though, even if I had the money. Because
I thought $1,000 was too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd buy it again. I'd buy it raw and I'd go from there. But it is, as a matter of fact, it is rounding at 1950. It did take a.
I don't know why I said I don't know what the price is. I have GPA right here. I mean,
yeah.
Come on, Will, you better than that.
It did peak at 3,000, no doubt about it. Right, the highest sale was $3,000, and that was months ago. That was oof. So there's so many sales. I mean, it's a $2,000 book, no doubt.
Yeah, it's
I want to know when we look at this, Will, because I remember 8.5s to 9.4s were roughly only like $50 apart.
Okay, here we go. 9.8
went crazy.
Yeah,
$2,140.
Now, is there meat on the bone on that one? Sure, maybe. Because when you get into number one, there's a Deadpool 3 movie coming out, and he's supposed to be part of the MCU, and that why people think that it has to be part of the MCU in order for like a first appearance on screen, I don't get. He was popular the minute he came out, right?
March 11th.
It was him. No,
3,000 sales March 11th.
There's one in April 21st as well.
Oh, sweet. Two of them.
Which tells me, if you look up a little bit, there's two $2,800 sales as well.
That's them, 28.
Yeah.
Which that tells me that this book, when it spikes, now I'm not saying it's going to stay and hold, but that tells me that when this book spikes, we'll be seeing 3,000 and close to 3,000.
Maybe. I think it's a long shot. This book is an on average. Over the last year or so, it's about a $1,500 to $2,000 book, right? That's what the sales trend data is telling us.
This book in a high grade before the leaked footage for the original movie was a $20 book. And then the leaked footage came out and shot up to $300, and now
it was almost a $100 book.
I mean, in a 9.8 in 2002, right, which is a long time ago, it was $68.
Yeah.
When that movie came out, what was that? The leaked footage came out in 2014.
Look at that, 2007, 178.
There was a jump. It went from $415 up to $800.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doubled. Yeah.
It doubled in price when that leaked footage came out.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's relatively held. It dipped down to about 600, but it stayed relatively solid for 6 years, and then just in the last year, we've seen it go up for tremendous prices.
Yeah, it never went higher than 1,300 until 2021.
It didn't break 1,000 until
2014, the first $1,000.
That's when we got all that speculator money dumping into the market.
Yeah. So Deadpool is the book you can look at to know when people started coming into the hobby and when the movies started taking over on pricing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, if you want to buy it, buy it. I'm going to be buying it at some point, but I would not buy a 9.8 copy unless I can get it at a deal.
But there's too many raw copies out there to even mess with.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I want it because I like Deadpool. I would not buy this as an investment book.
I've got a raw copy that I think is between a 9.6 and a 9.8. I haven't sent it in yet because it hasn't been that important for me to send in, but that's where I'm feeling it. It's between a 9.6 and a 9.8. It's the book I bought when it came out.
Oh crap! Look at the newsstand edition of a 9.8.
Oh, that's a totally different story.
Yeah,
it's a modern book that came out in.
It's 91, so that would have been
90s. Yeah,
15 to 20% of the print run then would have been probably.
Oh,
more like 10 to 15% would have been newsstand.
We're talking air bases, and and convenience stores.
And then the Mark Jewelers
Interracks. Yeah, that's the air base.
Yeah, that Mark Jewelers is the sleeper, and whenever a 9.8 pops up again, when he comes, it's probably gonna pop up when the movie.
That's Mark Jewelers going, give me 10 of those. Sending them out. I got one place that we like to put our ads.
All right, so Jimmy, what's something that you would say? What have you heard some bad advice on, and then give us some good advice to go against it?
Let's see. So my favorite thing, and Bry's Comics is gonna kill me because we're hometown pals, right? We grew up in the same town.
I will say on Bry's Comics, I have seen him do some stuff. The guy looks like he's a hustler, but half the things he does to me I wouldn't do them that way.
I'm with you. I'm not that kind of a seller. I'm not that kind of a collector. And everybody to each his own. He's doing something right now that a lot of people are doing and a lot of collectors are after. And he's turning those hot new keys. I'm going to say, don't chase the rabbit, right? These new books are like heroin, right? They go super high and then they just drop on you. They drop the rug comes out from under you. I say Bry's going to hate me because I'm talking about don't buy those kind of books that he sells. I'm not saying don't buy from him. I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's doing. I love Bry. He's a great guy. I'm just saying don't chase the rabbit. If you're going to get a new book, get it off the rack, right? Mm-hmm. If you're somebody who just buys slabs, don't buy too high. Something Is Killing the Children is a top-end book. It's a top-end book. It really is. It has so much following, but it is they went 17 issues on that run. It's a tremendous story. It's already been greenlit for a Netflix series. It has directors behind it, right?
Yeah,
they're writing script for it. That's huge. It is
even still though, that book scares me. I don't even want to go near it because my thing is unless a book is 5 years old, which means it has had most likely a high and a low, and so now we know where it's pretty much at or considered. Unless a book's like that, I try to stay away unless I bought it for like cover price. Like I buy 10 to 12 books from the previews. I get them in, I bag and board them, and then I just wait until they're hot. And if so, great, I sell them. And if not, I paid $5. I'm not out.
Yeah, you're not out much. But those books, like I said, those books are going hot, and there's a lot of people chasing that. And I get it. I get that's the kind of collecting you want to do. But if we're talking dollars and cents, I'm going to say don't chase it at the peak.
Not a book. Not a book like that.
Not a book that's been out a year, right? I mean, there's so much hype on it, right? It's going to come up. I wouldn't invest in it.
Yeah. Right? Independent. I'm nervous about independent because I haven't seen much independent stuff besides Walking Dead, and the print run of Walking Dead was low, which helped that out.
Yeah.
But that's the only one I've seen out of all of them. The Walking Dead had a staying power of how many seasons, or really good seasons and stuff like that. That one does scare me. I'm like, I can't believe, that's one of those things. Yeah, I wish I would have bought it, but man, I know I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
I wish I would have bought it when it was on the rack. I mean,
yeah, it's not those naughty teenagers get hacked by a serial killer. Yeah,
I would buy this one in the 90s if I bought the
New Agents of Atlas.
Yeah, because there's
reason why.
Yeah,
because
it's under $200 in the 90s.
And it's Disney Plus, right? You've got
multiple potentials there.
Yeah, you've got multiple first appearances, but it's not so much that you got the Shang-Chi movie coming out, right? You got them trying to build something from an ethnic and world culture level, right? Which is huge for Disney, especially considering how many Disney parks they've got over in Southeast Asia.
Yeah,
let's just face it. There's the U.S. and there's China, and all other movie markets are peanuts.
Yeah,
Agents of Atlas is all Asian.
Yeah, they're going to have a hard time. They may have a hard time selling it here in the States. They will not have a hard time selling it throughout Southeast Asia. Granted, there's more subscribers for Disney Plus in the States than there would be in China. Most likely. I don't have real data on that, but it's still a semi-communist country. Yeah. So
all I know is there's about 1 billion of them, 350 million of us. If half of them get into it, woo!
Oh yeah.
But it just takes
marketing and merchandising.
Yeah, it just takes a small portion. I mean, I call it's the Black Panther effect. Black Panther. If you look at the numbers overall, Black Panther did over 800 million in the U.S.
Yeah,
and that wasn't. And no offense, that was
nothing.
Blonde hair, blue eyed people seeing it. There was a lot of people of color seeing that movie. Oh yeah, buying theaters out at a time when I didn't even know you could buy theaters out. But I want to get the whole left side of the theater.
Yeah,
what?
And my Black Panther. Why did it take that long to have that kind of movie? That's my question.
It was. I think it took them a little while. It was a test.
I mean, there was only about 1.5 characters with speaking roles that looked like me in that movie, but that was an awesome movie, man. I love that movie.
But that's just it. It wasn't about you.
It took a test. Yeah, and it proved the point that I think that's why I said this would be a good buy because you don't have to get it in 9.8. You can get plenty raw copies for like $30 or less. Sure. And it's like you don't have to worry about like there's something killing the children. I don't even know how much a raw copy costs. You can buy probably like 20 raw copies of this one and save money than buying one raw copy of the other one.
But that's that book is a good time to get right now because I think everybody on the panel, I don't know about Will, but I know definitely Who Dat and I feel that there's a lot that's going to happen with that book.
I have now come around to that might be something to look into to getting. It's in here now. I got it. If I see it,
I would put money behind that book before I would put money behind any of the 300 variants of Strange Academy. Because everybody thinks that now that there's a Disney Plus channel, Strange Academy is a great idea for Disney Plus because it's got kids. You have any idea the production budget that it would take to pull off that show?
Hey, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I do like me some Strange Academy. I think that's not for speculation or anything. It's a good read. I like the book.
It's a good read.
But he makes sense. It would
Yeah, there are 11 first appearances in there, so I would say get the main cover, and then just sit on it.
Okay, well let me ask.
It's gonna take you 20 years.
Why is that book more important than Wolverine and the X-Men #1? We know the X-Men are actually coming. It's a school. They've got to have any of the thousands of new mutants that showed up in any of the dozen or so X-Men books. Why should Strange Academy be more prominent than any of the other X-Men characters that could show up at any time in any of these upcoming X-Men films?
Because we don't have that many magic-related characters that aren't mutants How many mutants do we have? How many books have had Wolverine and something else in the
Two words for you. Harry Potter. That's why.
Yeah.
It's a crossover market.
That would work. That would be one too. That's also a reason.
Well, like you said, the production that would. I mean, you got like you said, 11 first appearance of characters. If they did that as a Disney Plus show, I'll mark my words right now. If they did that as a Disney Plus show, it'd probably be 5 characters.
Yeah, but
in season 4, you might see everybody that was in.
Yeah, but my thing is, I'm not saying Disney Plus. I'm saying there's 11 first appearances in there. If they take one in the books, one of those characters, and then make them into something either as a kid, teenager, or adult on their own, then that would be a book to have.
Sure.
But I'm not saying do Strange Academy as in Harry Potter version of Marvel on Disney Plus. I mean, that might be a way to go, but I'm not thinking of it just for Disney Plus. I'm thinking that's a 20-year hold or something like that. So if you're not ready to hold that book for that long, don't put your money in. That's what I would say. Everyone went silent.
No, I was actually reading then you highlight. I started reading stuff. When I see long comments, I start reading them. I disagree with the Doctor Strange might be the new cameo guy because Benedict Cumberbatch is said he's kind of done with Doctor Strange. He kind of said that, and
he's not a guy who gets comfortable in a role and stays for the long term. He played a large iconic role for a large paycheck. So did Daniel Craig with James Bond, right? He's done with James Bond. They did 5 movies, right? You can't ask for more than that out of an actor, right? They want to move on to something else.
Yeah. And Doctor Strange has done what? He's done both Infinity Wars. What else he did?
A cameo at the end of
Thor Ragnarok cameo.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok cameo, his own film.
His own
film. So he's been in 4 or 5 things already?
4 at least, yeah.
He's been on screen at least 5 times.
Yeah.
Okay. But he was supposed to be 6 times because he was supposed to be in WandaVision.
Yeah, supposed to be in WandaVision.
Yeah.
Well, now we say
no. Kevin Feige said he was supposed to be.
Mephisto was supposed to be in WandaVision too.
No. That was movieshootcrack.com. That's it. Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel, said he was supposed to be in there, but they took him out because it didn't make any sense to just throw him in there. And I'm happy they didn't throw him in there, But he was in 5 things, and he's got his own movie coming out that's going to introduce more stuff. And he's supposed to be in Spider-Man. So that's 7 things. If he signs another deal, don't expect to be more than two more movies or 2 more things. Because if they don't wrap up his character in these next 2 roles, he might sign 1 or 2 picture deal after that.
And that's another thing is that, I mean, there's the longevity. Like, not everybody's going to put in. I mean, they laid a lot of groundwork with a lot of characters like Iron Man and Captain America, right? Where there was a lot going on. They had to. They needed to put all that out there in order to build it. Now that it's there and it's established and it's been kind of on a lull, right? I'm interested to see how they kickstart that back up. The shows have been great, right? And that's been coming along and it's been a lot of fun, but nothing really has been incredible. We haven't gotten that, that like Shang-Chi looks really entertaining. And Eternals, I'm waiting to see better.
I think Eternal. You know what I've seen from Eternals? It looks like it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
I didn't say it's going to be the visual effects.
Yeah. I think Eternals is a movie that's built to be the workhorse. I think from Eternals will sprout a lot of stuff, but Eternals itself may not. It may be like Iron Man 2, good but kind of meh. I think that's probably what Eternals is going to be, but everything springing from it.
Yeah, because Black Knight's probably gonna be like the leader of the Avengers after this.
But this is we're moving into movie talk, but this is bad advice and good advice.
Well, that kind of pays. It pays dividends. I mean, bad advice is going out, chasing
So,
books.
speaking of Eternals movie, what do you think about the Eternals books? I think it's like 1 through 10 is the one that's are climbing more than anything else. And then there's other books that have to do with it, such as the Black Knight, the Avengers book. I forgot the number. Who that? What is it?
47 and 48.
47. Avengers 47 and 48. Would those be good advice, you think, to buy now? Because no one's really talking about them.
And it kind of went down a little bit.
Yeah,
and the books kind of went down. Yeah, the books kind of went down. So I would say yes, actually, a buy right now, because I've seen the prices kind of go down, especially on raw copies. And then when you, like I say, when you do your research and you find out, oh man, there's a Kit Harington. He signed a how many picture deal? You're like, it's like a crazy. And it was like 6, I think.
8 picture deal.
Yeah. Say an 8 picture deal. You're like, and they've only filmed Eternals 1 so far.
Yeah, I would suggest.
He's the only one they announced how many they did. If you notice that.
Yep.
I would also suggest that I think it's issue 3 of Eternals. I'm not 100% sure, but whichever one has the first appearance of the Celestials, I think that might be a book to get. It's 2.
It's 2, yeah.
So
I just picked one up for half price. Yes.
That I think would be an interesting book to get.
In Guardians of the Galaxy. You saw your first glimpse of the Celestials, intertwined with the Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm.
So,
if you know your Marvel history, though, Celestials intertwined with a whole lot.
Oh, yeah.
And they're already talking about Celestials might be a villain for the second movie. So Celestials might make an appearance for this one. Like, they already got 3 movies planned for Eternal. So I would definitely say it's a buy. A lot of the trailer, the teaser trailer that they called it was like, it looked good. And you're like, I would like to see more stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got to see, all right, well, they got the award-winning Best Director. That current award-winning Best Director.
All you gotta tell me is they got Salma Hayek, and I'm there. That's all you gotta tell me.
You could say the whole cast. The whole cast is amazing.
Yeah. All I know is I sold a raw copy of Avengers 47 in a 5.0 approximately for $200 over the weekend, and the graded price on that book is $275.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just get you a graded copy then.
So the point is that people are still buying that book. It doesn't matter the grade or the price. I mean, it was a nice looking 5.0, but it had some water damage to the back.
I think people are more towards Black Knight than they are thinking about Eternals. Like the number 1, it's climbed, but it's not. No one's really talking about it. 2 and the rest especially not.
Yeah,
people aren't talking about it, which is weird because they've already released a trailer. We know the movie's coming. It's this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
by that same token, a 5.0 of 48, which is the first full Black Knight with him on the cover, a 5.0 of that goes for about $550.
Yeah.
So,
but now this is another thing to talk about. Spec that's not a spec, as you like to say, Who Dat? Adam Warlock.
Which one?
But buy them all because they have gone up. They have gone up, but they have not gone up nowhere near where they should have since we already know it's done.
Well, we do and we don't, right? We all knew that there was going to be a third movie from what's his name? The guy that did Inception. No, the Batman trilogy, right? With Christian Bale. We all knew there was going to be a third. We all knew there was going to be a third film, right? We thought that the third film was going to be built off of Dark Knight, but Heath Ledger passed away, right? Shit can happen. James Gunn got fired once already. If he comes back and he does Adam Warlock, it may still just be a joke, right? And it may not be anything as big as we had hoped it had been. So.
Dude,
I would say get him. I would say don't go overboard. Thor
because he does like to drop a lot of Easter eggs. He's like the king of Easter eggs.
He likes to pull the
no joke. I can tell you that right now. The fan backlash if they turn that Warlock into a joke. Ooh, that'd be bad.
You think it'll be as bad as the Birds of Prey film? With Cassandra Cain and the worst huntress I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, that was DC.
And that girl can act, but Huntress was terrible.
Huntress was amazing compared to Cassandra Cain.
Oh, yeah. The pickpocket that's a daughter of an assassin, right? Whatever.
That talks a lot.
Yeah. That was your first mistake. You made her talk.
Yeah. That made no sense. But yeah, I think it would be pretty bad though. But let's face it, it's par for the course for DC though. Marvel,
yeah, we don't know what's going to happen for that movie.
Yeah,
but you're talking like 2 or 3 years from now.
The first.
Well, I mean, 2 or 3 years, because I got to tell you, it's got to happen soon because Drax, what's his name, the actor, has already said, look, he's like, I'm done after this last one. He's like, it's not easy to keep this physique up at 50.
What I don't understand about that,
they don't have to have him shirtless. That's the thing that kills me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I don't understand is Drax has a costume. It's literally on the cover of his first appearance.
It's too late.
You can do something to take care of that. Just have his arms.
I don't think you can get him in a cape now.
Dude, Hulk Hogan is bigger than Batista, and he has huge guns, and he's in his 70s. I think he can keep his arms in shape. Shirt him up, man. Just let him have some good arms, and we'll be okay. He can do it. It's okay.
I think he's basically saying he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying
that's because he's been getting cast as other stuff. He wouldn't say that if he wouldn't have been getting cast as other things.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I don't know. But anyway, so we're kind of going off on some tangents here, although it is all good discussion. So we got 52 minutes in and a few seconds. Let's do one more. What's some bad advice you've heard? We've done given some good advice. Jimmy, you go first. What's another piece of bad advice you'd like to warn people about?
Let's see. Bad advice. That's a terrible question. Go to.
I was actually going to look it up. I was going to look up the one I was thinking of.
Well, why don't I go first, and then you guys can pop in. How about that? I would say if someone is telling you on a book that is shot up in price, that's never been expensive before, that is nostalgia of the 1980s, and they're telling you to sell it because it's super hot, I would say hold up, double check some stuff. If you need the money, then obviously sell it. But for a lot of things like TMNT, He-Man, Thundercats, stuff like that, I would say hold on and ride the wave because it'll probably dip after a little while, but it'll probably go up too because the 80s nostalgia stuff, we're all old enough now. We're buying those things. So I would say pump the brakes if you're wanting to sell now where things are super expensive. I would say hold on.
Yeah, everybody in that age group is like my age or a little bit older.
Just a little piece of advice. Since the He-Man TV show came out, that book has gone down $100 in average across the board.
I said there would be some valleys. I'm saying long term.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean long term, it's always been a book of value. But the fact of the matter is, it shot up, and then the TV show tanked to the critic, and because everybody was expecting some giant He-Man thing, and it was Tila. So,
well,
just saying.
Yeah, that's why I haven't been in a rush to watch it.
I didn't even watch it. I would still say
no. Everybody told me it didn't suck, but it wasn't what they expected.
Yeah,
exactly. To me, it's worse. Yeah, to me, it's worse.
Hold on to your DC Comics Presents the He-Man book. Hold on to your He-Man #1, your Turtles Adventures 1, any first print Turtles.
Well, shoot, all the Turtle stuff, it just got more announcements. So you got the cartoon, and now you got the live action movie. So you got 2 different projects for Turtles.
Yeah, and
So-
G.I. Joe,
Well, G.I. Joe, that
Transformers,
movie it was terrible. I
Thundercat.
heard. And so
Yeah,
they
but-
don't know if it would have got, so.
Okay, so what are we expecting out of a G.I. Joe movie, right? Let's just ask that question. What were we really expecting, right?
I told a friend of mine when I
from the
saw that
get-go,
trailer.
from the
Yeah,
get-go,
but when
I
I
knew
saw that,
Dude,
that movie was never going to be what everybody wanted it to be.
dude, G.I. Joe to me is made for Michael Bay. That is the kind of thing that you do with Michael Bay. A lot of guns and explosions, and that's G.I. Joe.
And he'll make $1 billion out of it, like he did with Transformers, even though like all
The
of
first
them
2 movies that they released weren't good. They were not. I'm sorry, they weren't great. They were good movies, right? They were enjoyable, fan action films. That was it. That's it. I mean, they were just,
and that's what they're supposed to be, honestly. That's
exactly.
what they
I mean, when you kill Duke off in the first 15 minutes of the second film, right, to replace him with The Rock, damn, that's rough. But,
and then he have to kill him. They could have just captured him or something. They could have did something.
Right?
You're gonna introduce The Rock,
group,
and like it's hard to blame them at that time. Because at that time, The Rock was coming off of, I think, of Fantastic, Fast and Furious savior.
Yeah. Oh,
he saved the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, he was on an up leg. Yeah.
They called him like the franchise saver. Like you put him in, he'll save the franchise. So
don't say that to Vin Diesel because we didn't need to be saved.
Okay. Yeah. Look what happened to Fast 9. Oh my God. But
he does have family, so I mean.
Yeah. But I mean, I do agree with what Will's saying about the nostalgia stuff in that time period as far as a longer term hold, because like I said, I'm in that age frame of those people, and people are starting to get their own money and starting to get their own things. What if they might not buy it now, but hey, they could buy it in their 40s, could buy it in their 50s. And that is the age frame of American males like in the 70s. So you still that's still in the peak of like, oh man, I want to buy. I remember this when I was a kid. I might be 55 and retired. Let me get that book. I remember, So it's like it's almost like that's why I have the He-Man book. I don't have nothing really into it, so I could sell it now, even at $100 loss of what it was selling for, and make a killer profit. But I was a kid in the 80s. It's like a retirement book for me. So when I retired, I can sell it to somebody else who didn't get it. And they might be my age, and I'll be selling it to like, hey, But
I would say even though it had a loss in 10 years, it'll close to double probably.
It better. It better in 10 years. In 10 years, it's better.
So, Jimmy, what you got? You got something to end us up here?
So bad advice. I had something.
I got one if you're not ready.
Yeah, go ahead. I had one. We started getting on to something else. I completely forgot what it was.
Yeah. Well, I looked it up because I said I know where it's located at. It was on Key Collector. So just got announced. And what's his name? Michael B. Jordan. And they were like, ooh.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, they had the Superman or whatever in Earth 225 or whatever. And I was like, really? Like, so they announced that, he made that announcement that they're in, I guess, development or whatever you want to call it. They're not even in pre-production. Pre-production is where they actually put money into it. They're not even at this stage. So they're at the development stage. This is what he wants to do for the TV side for HBO Max. And they put it on Key Collector and pumped up the price. And that's like bad advice. Definitely bad advice too when you look into HBO side, Warner Brothers and including HBO got bought out by Discovery. It just got to get approved. It's getting bought out. So even though it's Michael B. Jordan and a lot of people love him and he's done pretty good with stuff like that TV show he did on Netflix with the kid who has superpowers, you don't know what Discovery's going to do after the sale is through. They could scrap everything.
Yep.
They could scrap everything. They didn't put money into that. They could scrap everything. They already bought Warner Brothers and DC and all that stuff at a discount because AT&T sold it for, I don't even think, half of what they paid for it. So that was definitely bad advice. A Key Collector, but if people want that book,
well,
because it's started, I would wait.
Let's just look here. GPA has a 6.5 sale, 2 9.6 sales, and it has 4 9.8 sales, which, let's face it, that's what most people would be buying. And check this out. 2020, one book sold for $20 and a 9.8. The 12-month average is $215 based on 2 sales. And one of those sales was $180 in June. But the average of 2020 was $20.
But you know why? As soon as they announced that, tons of people sent that to CGC, and like you're gonna see a whole bunch in like 4 months.
March had a $250 sale. June had a $180 sale, and the only graded copy that moved in 2020 sold for $20.
So basically, you could have bought it graded. People were paying like over $100 or something for a raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bad advice that I saw that clicked in my mind, and I had to look it up, and I was like, I know where it's at.
now that can also be good advice if you find that book in a dollar bin and you want to flip it raw,
where it belongs.
Exactly. And I looked for dollar bins, and I couldn't find that book anywhere. It's not even worth the dollar bins here.
See, there's something right there where it's like, okay, you had to go and take an established character and you had to remake it to shape to shape politics, right? Whereas you have something like Adam the Blue Marvel, right, that is his own character, that is a strong character that cannot get a
Marvel.
Exactly, but even though it's Marvel, right? Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that you have a strong Superman-like character who has a science background and a great backstory.
At least Michael B. Jordan is using an original character, Val Zod, rather than the WB that released plans on changing Clark Kent to black, and then that be the only change. At least Val Zod's an original character. But I agree with you. You have an even better character in your portfolio. His name is Icon.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you got that whole grouping right there, Icon and Static and all the rest of the milestone characters. But that character that Michael B. Jordan's doing is just Superman. It's just a different guy made it off the planet.
Yeah. But pretty much, yeah. And on that note, thank you, Who Dat. That was perfect. We're going to end this broadcast.
Oh, wait, I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Don't trust the price information on Key Collector, right? It is really good for identifying. It is really good for identifying books that have some significance. However, there are so many books on there that list something as a first appearance or something like that, right? It is just an information source. That doesn't mean every one of them has value or will have value in the future. Do not blindly trust Key Collector. That's like blindly trusting the internet. Don't do it.
It's good for what you said it for. It's like information tool, like,
It is good for what it was originally designed to do, which is tell you which book is the key.
Exactly.
Albeit they're a little generous with that wording, but still, it tells you what happened that is somewhat significant in the book. Don't ever trust the pricing. It has an eBay thing you can click. I would rather you click that and then go to sold and check the prices that sold.
Yeah.
What book? Did you have a book, Jimmy?
No, just like I've gone on there, like I'll be at a store, right, and I'll be like,
same here.
I don't remember, like, okay, which book had this? I'll pop over to Key Collector and I'll spin through and go, oh, okay. And then I look at them like, gotta be out of your mind. Like a high value, $75. I'm like, that's a $10 book. Who's paying $75 for this? I mean, if that's actual sales data, I don't know where they're getting it from.
And then you don't know if that's raw or if that's graded either.
You don't. You have there's no information about the actual data itself.
And there's a lot more grades than high, medium,
High grade, yeah, exactly. That's a very gray disbursement.
Yeah. So
medium,
anyway,
high.
we'll see you guys later. Jimmy, Who Dat, you guys got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I got videos coming out. Just dropped a video from an Orlando haul where I got to hang out with Steve Whiting and Stay Puff, who's now Puff Comics.
Yeah.
816. I don't remember. Sorry, Puff. Puff Comics 83. Anyway, got to hang out with them. That was a good time. I've got tomorrow night. I've got a premiere on my Comic Rehab Art of CPR. I am CPRing an ASM 129. So I'll be in the chat if anybody wants to talk about the process or cleaning and pressing in general as I go through it. And then I am back on. I got another video Saturday, and then next week I'll be at MegaCon. So we'll be doing Cocktails and Comics live from MegaCon next Thursday, provided they don't cancel the show.
Who Dat, you got anything to plug?
Only thing is auction Friday on my channel, 7 Central. So just be on the lookout for that auction. And I don't think I have anything else for the week, but yeah, I did unboxing and showing some books that I'm going to send off to get graded, so they can check out that video. And then I got to do a part 2 of the rest of the books I'm going to send off to get graded, and this wait on those books to come back. But yeah, that's all I got. I mean, the auction and stuff like that. So just sub everybody up, check everybody's stuff out, man. I like doing these little things of giving our opinions on stuff. So. Hopefully everybody else likes it, because it's just our opinions. We're not telling you to go buy anything.
Yeah.
We're not telling you not to go buy anything. Just our recommendations as we've collected throughout the years and what we've seen. So that's all I got.
So with that, we'll see you guys later. Thank you to my guest, and thank you to everyone in the chat that was here. And I've got D&D on Sunday night, and that's all I got scheduled at the moment. So see you there, and depending on the comments, we may do this again. Or even if you all hate it, we may do it again because we really want to have ourselves a talk. Who knows? We'll find out.